Hi everybody, it's Gordon here today talking to you from Liverpool's Royal Albert Dock about the structure question for the GCSE English language examination. A lot of people think this is a little tricky, this question, but in fact there is a fairly clear way through it if you go about it sensibly. First things first, keep an eye on those bullet points that you're provided with at the start of the question. The examiner will usually say you could use these bullet points as prompts or things to write about when tackling the question. But actually these are more than just hints. These are fairly clear instructions to cover those key points when you're going through the question. The question itself is likely to say something like, how has the writer used structure to interest the reader? Okay, so your job, as I say, is to map out the changes that have occurred throughout this piece of fiction, or this extract from a piece of fiction. Keep in mind, of course, that fiction is about character, fiction is about setting, fiction is about relationships, fiction is about attitudes and developments and so forth. So it will have a natural flow. Structure, the title of the question would sort of seem to suggest something like the rather sturdy fixed buildings behind me that don't move, when in fact obviously our lives do change, and often in unpredictable ways. And writers try to capture this, try to reflect this in the narrative that you're presented with here. So how are they doing that? Through the different writing techniques that are available to them. Well, first things first, look carefully at the paragraphs, the new paragraphs that the writer uses. Each new paragraph, as we know, should contain a fresh idea, a fresh direction. Particularly the topic sentence will give you a clue in that regard. Moving on from that, you can also then look at the sentence variety. Perhaps sometimes you're going to find there's a little array of short sentences that have been used, often to create drama or to create perhaps a certain sense of pace even in the writing. At other times the writer might opt for slightly longer, more complex sentences when they want to expand on ideas, or they want to perhaps describe things in rather more detail, because that's important to them at this particular point. Equally, you should think about, perhaps can you spot a moment in the text when the writer is including quite a long descriptive passage, or even a relatively short piece of description? Why has the writer opted to do that? What are the words that the writer is using at this point? What effect are they having on you as the reader in terms of influencing your views, your ideas about character, or about the situation or the setting and so forth? Look too for fresh perspectives. Are we moving from indoors to outdoors? Are we moving from the internal thoughts of a character to direct engagement and direct involvement with other characters? What do we notice in terms of any changes in emotions and the way they're being presented, or how a character is feeling? Is this reflected in any dialogue? Have we got any dialogue that's being used at any particular point as well? Again, keep your eyes open for any slight changes, any slight features that you notice the writer is trying to put in place in the writing as it goes forward. Even down to small things like exclamation marks. Has the writer used exclamation marks for a particular reason at any given point, and therefore, what sort of effect has he or she tried to create here? I'm going to leave it at that for the moment, and we'll pick up more perhaps on the idea of structure a little bit later on. But for the moment, keep revising, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.